Welcome everyone to the God Tender Loving Care live stream. Salud. That is an amazing blueberry lemonade. Blueberries are also known to be the top most best contender for building your brain. Yep, that's right. So, blueberries are factually known to help your memory. You can remember better, especially frozen blueberries. Frozen blueberries are a treat. If you can get your hands on an ice cold, frozen, organic blueberries, those will go a long way. As someone who is a health and fitness connoisseur, um, it is something that I recommend to everyone. So we've been going through a lot of challenges and obstacles recently. As you notice that the ambience, the lighting, the cinematography, this entire production here is a little bit different. I want you to tell me if you've been joining us in the previous live streams, how you think it's different. So our production value is increasing. That is true. And thank you to all my supporters out there. God tender love and care would not be possible without you. During our previous sessions, we went through trivia, riddles, dad jokes, mom jokes, the news, entertainment, education. We are now live. So if any of you have any suggestions, make sure to share those in the chat. If you have a small business or business idea, music, ebooks, books, product, merch that you would like to share with the God Tender Love and Care community and network, feel free to type that into the chat. I am also interested in new music, new movies, all the books and ideas out there, investing in different businesses. So if you have a collaborative idea, feel free to share that. I am also very interested in your opinions, ideas moving forward. I know I've had some contestants, some clients, supporters, and fanatics here on God Tender Loving Care live stream. Feel free to share this with anyone you think may benefit. We've covered topics throughout the week from Hurricane Debbie, which is going on 2 3 weeks now. The drought in different parts of the world and making sure that if there are people out there with needs, um, that you share how we can help as much as possible all around the world. This is a diverse, equitable stream. God Tender Love and Care is the voice of the people, and I take your opinions and what's most important into consideration. So, with that being said, open dialogue, let's get the show on the road. And one of my favorite parts is going through the trivia. We got through a lot of trivia, one that I remember from our previous live streams that have just stood with me. And you may ask, why is it important? Trivia, trivia of all things. Well, trivia is one of the most engaging ways of learning new information. I don't really like the word tests or quizzes. I'm more of a hey, let's make that engaging in game format. Let's build on engagement. Tests out the window. We're not going to test you. We're going to learn together. We're going to review information that may or may not be important, tidbits that may get you out of a speeding ticket if you were to get a speeding ticket, and light-hearted humor. As we mentioned in a previous podcast, if you ever get pulled over and you can build empathy with that police officer that pulled you over and lighten their day just a little bit, do that because the men and women in blue are out there protecting the laymen, the citizens, and making sure that we live in a great community, safe community. So, what we can do as citizens and anyone off duty is, just keep it lighthearted. Everyone is going through their own challenges and undergoing different obstacles and challenges that to have an arsenal of lighthearted dad jokes or mom jokes or a different way of looking at the world or situations that may lighten the mood and pretty much de-stress any situation is always a good idea. So that's why we go through the dad jokes and mom jokes and trivia questions, so that you can have talking points with the world in front of you. Now, I'm very interested as an anthropologist by training, as a professor, about just different facts. It keeps your literacy high, reading keeps you engaged, and for me, the more you know, the more that you can combat that old adage of ignorance is bliss. Now, this is a question for you, anyone here on the stream. Do you believe that ignorance is bliss? What does that even mean? And why and or why not? Now, let's go through the trivia questions. And I'm learning just as much as you. I don't know all the answers. A good round of trivia keeps the blood flowing, keeps this conversation lighthearted wherever you are in the world, whatever you may be experiencing, just to get your mind off of the heavy stuff. Yes, we got to tackle the heavy stuff. Yes, we got to chip away at our goals. Yes, we have to move forward, but we do that and enjoy the journey. So, I'm going to ask you a question, and if you know the answer, type that into the chat. This is an open dialogue conversation. I will read your statements in the chat and respond to you. Um, and as I mentioned, if there are other members in the chat, please be respectful. How many zeros are there in GOOGLE, which is Google? How many zeros are there in Google? GOOGO. This is one that you may have to see. So I am going to use the assistive hardware and software technology at my fingertips to show you. Now, part of this technology is that sometimes when you capture images, it turns it like backwards or upside down or one of those when I show you. So I'm going to do a technological experiment here. I don't know if it's going to work, but this is the question. The question is how many how many zeros are in GOOGLE, which is Google. Take about 30 seconds. And I wouldn't have gotten this. I would have been more on the lines of if you would have asked me, what? What is that? I would have been chewing at that and wondering what's the purpose of it. But this is a visual exercise. So the answer here, and I don't know why that's the answer, but it states that there are 100. I don't really understand how there are 100 zeros in Google. Let's take a quick look at this. I don't get it. So, all right, so we have three for sure, and those are the actual O's. Then there is a O up here, which could be a zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see 7. I do not understand this one right here. I don't get it. How many zeros are there in? So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Um, so I am flabbergasted, and I am going to quickly look up the answer for this question? Uh, it's a very, very trick question. One that you could probably pose to um, anyone and see what they get because it's such a random question. You might get some random question answers. All right, so let's take a quick look here. And as I look this up, all right, so the question is a Google is 10 to the 100th power, which is 1 followed by 100 zeros. While it is an unimaginably large number, there still an infinite quantity of large numbers. Okay, so that's a math fact, it looks like. I wonder where that comes from. Had never heard of that. Maybe it is a deviation of Google, the website. So let's look up Google etymology. Okay, created in 1940s, said to have been coined by the 9-year-old nephew of E. Kastner in 18, who lived from 1878 to 1955, American mathematician. Okay, all right, so that is a math fact. Got it. Didn't know that. It was never taught that, but now we know. So ask that to your mathematician friends and buddies and family members. If I had known that these were inclinated to be STEM related, I would have prepped more. Hey, but this is a learning lesson. What is the dot above a lowercase I or J called? I've known this one. I'm going to read the option. Is it a pearl? Is it a dot? Is it a gem? Or is it a tittle? Random piece of information that I've known picked up over the years. I would not say a pearl, or I would probably in layman terms say a dot, not a gem. But I have heard the word tittle. What's the technical term for hashtag? I have not looked at the answers. The technical term for a hashtag, I would say pound, right? It's the pound symbol on a telephone key. Never mind, that's not the right answer, and that's not even in the ballpark. Our choices are tick tag, quad note, octothorpe, or pound shizzle. I would have not gotten this and have never heard of this word before. So a hashtag, if I know correctly, is yeah. So I would have got this right because I did say pound sign. But of these choices, the term octothorpe is the correct answer, and there's somewhat of a trickery going on because the next closest contender would be pound shizzle, which it's a pound symbol, not a shizzle, but it is an octothorpe. And in the definition of octothorpe states another term for the pound sign, and that is what we said. So tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Next question. In what country would you find the world's most ancient forest? Is it China, USA, Australia, or Brazil? Uh, would I have gotten this correct if I wouldn't have seen the answer? Let's think. I would have. Oh, this ancient forest. No, probably not. When I think of forests, think of wow, Amazon is in a Amazon rainforest would count, but that's not the oldest. I would have probably went with Brazil, but the correct answer is Australia. Good to know. The USA being a relatively new country wouldn't have been a top contender. China potentially. One of the most recent facts that I learned about China is that that's where ice cream was created. So my mind thinking about well ancient stuff. Yeah, maybe China. But I did think Brazil first because of the Amazon rainforest. Let's look up what is world's most ancient forest called in Australia. So, most ancient forest, Australia. I want to know its name. I know the Amazon. Uh, Australia's Daintree rainforest in Queensland is considered the world's oldest tropical rainforest with an estimated age of 130 to 180 million years. This makes it about 10 million years older than the Amazon, the world's largest rainforest. Wow. Fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Let me know what you think in the chat and let's move on. This one's such a niche question, number seven, that I won't read it out loud. If any of you advocate and say, hey, read number seven out loud for us, please, let me know and I will get back to number seven. We are on Live Reacting blog, which is blog.livereacting.com. 100 funny trivia questions 2024. And another niche question. Uh, Now we go into the STEM field, science. What animal classification is a turtle? I didn't look at the answers. Animal classification of a turtle. I'm leaving this in your hands. What is the animal classification of a turtle? Turtle is a reptile. Correct. If any of you said reptile, congratulations. The choices that we had to choose from are amphibian, reptile, mammal, or bird. Um, I think that knowing the demographics of the people that I work with, they definitely wouldn't have said a bird. Mammal, no, they wouldn't have said mammal. There maybe have been some confusion with amphibian or reptile because an amphibian would be something like a frog. And when I think about amphibians, frogs, I think about turtles, but I know that a turtle would most likely be a reptile. We'll get into more of that later on. If you're just joining the live stream, God, tender love and care, welcome, welcome. We are here going through trivia. We will be transitioning soon to other topics covering the news, education, free education, that is, which is what I believe in, and bettering our knowledge base, going through other fun topics like contemporary news, things that I am interested in, things that you are interested in, meeting at the middle, sharing our cultural dialogue and communication, building on sociology, anthropology, psychology, etc. And also covering what is relevant in today's world. So, welcome, welcome everyone. If you are just joining the live stream, we are God, Tender, Love, and Care. Make sure to leave your opinions or any thoughts or ideas in a very respectful manner in the chat. If you're interested in any of our merch or products, feel free to reach out to me or check out our website, which is payhip.com/GodTLC, where we have collectibles, jewelry, ebooks, books, music, etc. All right, so let's transition now to the portion of the mixed martial arts section. In this session, MMA session, I recently listened to the Jackson podcast. The Jackson podcast included, I believe, Rose Namajunas on the episode. And one of the questions that was asked to Rose Namajunas of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, hailing from or descendants of Lithuania, now currently training in Colorado, fellow martial artist that I actually trained with back in the day. I began my journey in the well, boxing and and wrestling. My father was a boxer, but they got me into the full striking area of Taekwondo. And the gym that I trained at was a competitive gym. We would compete against Rose's gym, which I believe was Cho's. So when I heard that she trained at Cho's, I was like, "Oh, we used to go against them," and we, toured their facilities because there was a rivalry between my taekwondo gym and the gym that she trained at. So Rose Namajunas is definitely an inspiration. And anytime there are documentaries or books, I am reading because I can relate. I find her to be a very relatable person and an inspirational mixed martial artist. So, one of the questions I was asked to Rose Namajunas on the Jackson podcast was a good one. I said, they asked her, "Hey, well, how did you get the moniker, the nickname Thug?" Because the mixed martial artist known as Rose Namajunas goes by Thug Rose Namajunas. And that was just something given to her. My understanding, someone gave that nickname to Rose because that's the aura that she emitted in the community. That's a shell that she had to create in the Illimilly City, the 414, Milwaukee. Very one of the most. It's been ranked as segregated city, one of the most, and for the longest, the most segregated city in the United States. Place of a lot of violence, and a lot of crime. So Rose says she had to grow out of that, and as soon as she could, she got out. But during that time, she had to become a thug. She had to really stand her ground because there were fights, people picking fights left and right, and a very bullying mentality. Uh, so I respect that, and I actually have a list of goals where I want to delve into mixed martial artist names and monikers and rank them from best to interesting, etc. I think that while it's fitting for her to keep that, I think that business wise, she has so much to play off of. She has so many options, and that if she ever wanted to change her nickname, and I think she could, because when they asked her about being a thug, she was like, "Yeah, this was this thing that they gave me as nickname, and it was appropriate for the time, but I'm, a thug." And how the podcasters, Rampage Jackson and Bear and Luke Rockhold were translating thug was someone who robbed liquor stores and did bad stuff. And Rose said, "No, I'm the opposite of that. It's just that, when I was young, got into scuffles and, people bullied me and I hit them back. And I respect that. You have to defend yourself. That's what martial arts is, you treat your body as a temple. You don't let people degrade that. And I think that if she wanted to come up with a better nickname, and it's possible, Tate, right? Misha, uh, who used to be called Misha Takedown Tate, changed her nickname randomly to Misha Cupcake Tate, just to be more, I don't know, feminine, or you tell me. So that's my interpretation of that. But I think that Rose is such a beautiful name that she could change it to something like she could build a business on. And people have built businesses on their monikers, on their names. Um, I think there's like Rampage Jackson, Rampage MMA, um, and Oscar de la Hoya, Golden Boy Promotions. Um, so martial artists and boxers have made careers and extended the longevity and diversity of their career by utilizing their nicknames, the monikers. I'll think of more. I have so many examples, but on Rose Namajunas, I would be interested to see if what she thinks about Rose Gold Namajunas, right? And it's fitting that she was on a Jackson podcast where they sell jewelry, and her being a champion, all wanting the gold belt, the gold standard. That would be fascinating. And on top of that, her blonde hair, like the golden Super Saiyan hair. I think that that would be a great like rose gold, and it exists, right? Rose gold is a color. It's a very luxurious idea. And rose gold, actually, I believe, if I did my research correctly back in the day, comes from Russia. Rose gold. I think that it comes from Russia, and or maybe Russia. They call it something. Oh yeah. So rose gold was known as Russian gold. This was because it was first used in Russia. So I mean, rose gold, namahunas. So that's just one idea. What do you think about nicknames and monikers?